I'm overweight and out of shape. Thank you for your honesty, Anne-Marie. And my doctor wants me to start exercising, but honestly, I just hate it.
Oh.
Hey everybody, Horton's here. We are doing our first ever Tony Talks, and we have 6 really great questions from people, actually not even all over the country, all over 2 countries. Cool. So we're gonna get started asking questions. These came from people like you, or maybe you if you're watching.
Maybe you never know. Okay, Mrs. Horton.
Okay, Tony. Our
First one, I'm ready.
Okay, first one is from Andrea in Florida, on the other side of the country. She says, I am loving your next level program, but I'm having a hard time getting rid of these last 15 pounds. What do you suggest? Help me, Tony.
Her name is Andrea.
Andrea.
Andrea, hello, Tony Horton here. Thanks for being the very first question on the inaugural Tony Talks. We're so excited. I've got chills, I'm scared. And thank you for using the next level on Guy and TV Fit and Yoga. There you go, that's my first plug. The last 15, well, you know, I mean, it happens to so many people, and it's really a combination of a couple things. I mean, if you're working out 5 to 6 days a week and you're doing the next level and you're following that program, then you're probably doing okay. You know, there's also the issue of undertraining and overtraining. Sometimes people aren't working hard enough. Sometimes they're working too hard. You know what I mean? So you have to find that line between, you know, really overtraining and undertraining. So what does that look like? You want to make sure that on every exercise you feel like your form is pretty good, you're pushing pretty hard, but you don't feel wiped out, you don't feel destroyed, you don't feel like you're just hating it because you're having to work so hard. You know, you're sort of just outside of your comfort zone for a lot of it. Of course, you know me, I'm always saying hit the pause button, take those breaks, whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's purpose, plan, accountability. I've said this, you know, 14 billion times. If your purpose is lined up, you know why you're doing this thing. I mean, obviously you want to lose the 15 pounds, but the fact that you're consistent, I mean, that says a lot, right? I fluctuate, Shauna fluctuates. We all kind of fluctuate with our weight, right? But it is summertime, and you know, you want to wear clothing that makes you look good, and I totally get that. So it really comes down to diet. If you're consistent with your exercise and you're training just right, you're not overdoing things. There's certain categories of food that get in your way. So, you know, I mean, look, people are vegan, they're vegetarian, they're paleo, they're keto, they're Mediterranean. There's so many different ways to eat. You know, Sean and I are in this everything healthiatarian, which, you know, opens up a variety of different kind of food. Sometimes we eat meat, sometimes we eat chicken or salmon, or sometimes we eat vegan. We do it all. But, you know, the thing that I always say is you want to look down at your plate, you want to make sure that your great-great-great-great-grandmother can look down at that plate and go, oh, I recognize that. And for me, there's certain categories, and now this is just me, I don't know what your categories are going to be. There's certain foods that, we're getting a call. We're getting a call from you. Foods that I ignore, you know what I mean? Like refined sugar and carbs and white flour and donuts and bagels and soda pop and alcohol. Like I stay away from alcohol like the plague. It's just not my thing. I mean, look at me as I am. Can you imagine me with a couple of beers in me? Out of control! I used to be out of control, but I didn't stop for that reason. I just wanted to stay super lean and strided and fit, and you know what I mean? And especially with me, you can ask Shauna. We both have sugar things, man. I mean, it's a hard thing to give up. What I did was I went on a 3-month hiatus, no sugar at all. So my little sweet thing at night and my semi-sugary breakfast cereals in the morning. I mean, they were supposed to be healthy, but they really had too much sugar. And after that 3 months, you know, now I have my 2 little tiny chocolate chip cookies at night, really honestly. And I have gluten-free bagels. So that is really it. I mean, I am gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, soy-free. And that's all.
Corn-free.
And corn-free. Corn-free, right? So that eliminates a lot of stuff. But, you know, based on my blood work, that was really important for me. And is it 50-50? Is it 50% exercise and 50% diet? It's 100% both. You know what I mean? So if you're having trouble with that last 15, then, you know, I would look at what you're putting in your mouth. If you're exercising the right amount, then just what do you got to cut out? You know, my friend Bill Bondi was doing really well. He's a former Navy SEAL. I've known him since college. You know, he was exercising. He was doing P90X finally after I bugged him. And he was doing great doing great the first 45 days, and he started to plateau. He goes, I'm not losing weight anymore. And he cut out booze for 1 month, 30 days, and the weight fell off of him. And ever since then, he's just a once in a while guy, you know what I mean? We found out together that he was drinking 17 cocktails a week, like, wow. having beers at the game, having cocktails at lunch with people at work. So he just cut it out, and it just fell off. So I don't know if that's your thing. I don't know if it's soda pop is your thing. I don't know if, you know what I mean, little cheap things here and there. But it's about the food. And as a woman, I mean, this is a dude talking to a gal. What would you say?
For me, I find that the most important thing is, I mean, you're like, oh look, I'm eating chicken breast all the time, and I'm eating broccoli, and I'm eating egg whites, and all these things. What I found for me personally was I was getting too much protein, not enough vegetables and fiber. So now when I look down at my plate, I want a little bit of protein if I'm eating meat or fish or eggs or whatever it is. The comparison is typically like a deck of cards. Don't eat any more meat than that, especially for a woman.
Right.
And then look down at the rest of your plate and make sure it's full of fresh leafy greens and maybe some cooked vegetables or whatever you want. A little side of, if you eat carbs, a little side of beans or something like that.
Yeah, like Sean will make me whatever it is, whether it's a bison or it's buffalo or same thing, or chicken, whatever. There's always 2 servings of vegetables on our plate. I always have, you know, broccoli and asparagus or cauliflower and whatever else. It's not corn. You know what I mean? And then just for flavor, I'll have some little, you know, new potatoes, a little side of that, just to, you know, go old school. I don't know if that's helped you at all, but at least it's a start. So there you go, our first question.
Yeah, write us back if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
We want to know.
What do you got next, Mel?
All right, our next question is from Bill in Buffalo, New York.
That's gotta be fake. Buffalo Bill, come on. That's gotta be fake. Wow, Bill, you're trying to hide from something? Tom, Alan, what's your real name? Buffalo Bill. Okay, what is Buffalo Bill? That's awesome.
You can't say there's not a
There's
single
probably
Bill in
some
Buffalo.
Bills in Buffalo.
Okay, he says, honestly, Tony, how do you stay motivated all these decades later? I'm good for a couple of months, then I fall off the wagon for a couple of months, and I hate it. Do you have any tips for a fellow boomer to stay motivated like you?
Oh, dude. Bill. Okay. It's about purpose, always number one, right? There's other things I'll talk about. I'll try to be brief here, but why are you doing this, dude? If you're doing it for a couple of months, chances are, and I don't know you personally, but it could be for aesthetic reasons, like, oh, I want to lose a certain amount of weight so I can look better. Or you want compliments from other people, or you're having, you know, these very high expectations of what you'd like to look like in the future, or making comparisons to what you looked like in the past. All right, so you have to abandon that to a certain degree. Hey, do I like, you know, being lean and strided and show off my six pack? Of course I do. You know, I have a massive ego, so we all know that. But at 62 in a little while, and you're a boomer as well, so you're probably in the same ballpark. Right now, for us at our age, dude, it's about health and wellness, and feeling good and avoiding pain and fatigue and longevity, right? Because what happens to people like us, if we're not really on this and we're not doing it all the time, the wheels start falling off. And they fall off so bad, so hard, that coming back gets harder and harder. So man, you gotta get going on this thing. And so you can ask Shauna. For me, it's a 5 to 6 day a week equation. All right, and I've said this a million times to a lot of people in the past. Get yourself a good old-fashioned calendar, a wall calendar, a small one, hanging up there on the back of your front door, on your refrigerator or your bathroom mirror, someplace you're going to see it all the time. And you write down all your workouts in advance. All right, and so then you get into your plan. Right, so your accountability is, I want to do this for health and wellness and avoiding the pain and agony of growing old like everybody else. Right, I always say aging is for. I use the word idiots, but really the long version is aging is for people who aren't willing to put in the time and the effort to do the right things to avoid the same trials and tribulations as everybody else. But that would look weird on a t-shirt, so idiots, even though it's controversial, it seems to work. All right, so now your plan, right? What's your plan? What are you gonna do, and when are you gonna do it? What are you gonna do, and when are you gonna do it? For me, Monday's cardio, Tuesday's shoulders and arms. You can see the stuff back here. I think I just got done doing it before we did a little interview here, right? Shoulders and arms, that's my plan, that's what I do. It's already figured out. All right, Wednesday is plyo. We're doing live workouts right here on Facebook. Sean and I, you can jump in, join us, all right? You have no excuse, it's free. Thursday's chest and back. Friday is sometimes a day off, and sometimes more cardio, especially, with what's going on with the pandemic. I don't know when we're gonna air this thing, but we're in the middle of a little pandemic, so I'm gonna take care of my lower lungs. Saturday, Sean and I are doing yoga in the morning, and then Sunday is my, crazy group a workout that's 3 hours long. So I know what I'm going to do, and I know when I'm going to do it, and I stick to that until I'm 106. And 106, I'll just break out a six-pack and take a nap. You know what I mean? So that's really it. And accountability is the big kahuna for so many people. If you don't have support from people around you at work, in your family, in the neighborhood, you know what I mean? Like I know people who get up, gals who get up, they got 5 kids, they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they go in their basement, it's 48 degrees down there, and they do plyo. I mean, what? Not me, man. If Shauna doesn't join me, or some of my friends don't join me, oh my God, I'm gonna be in trouble, right? So if they're not in your house, and they're not in your neighborhood, and they're not at work, then you gotta go online and you gotta find them. Now I got 2 challenge groups. I got a P90X Never Dies challenge group on Facebook, and I've got a 2020 Go Next Level challenge group. So get in there, man. Talk to those people, show us your pictures, write whatever it is. And know this, I'm gonna finish with this. Accountability. Here's your calendar, right? When you write all the workouts in advance, whatever they are, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, every time you finish one, take your gorgeous little red magic marker and make your X. And every time you do one, you make your X. And you know you're in the right place if you've got 22 of those X's at the end of the month. And if you've only got 15, that means you took 15 days off, probably. So, you're not going to see the results. It's like, I'm going to go to work 15 times this month. Or I'm going to eat 15 times this month. I'm going to, maybe I'll just skip sleeping 15 times, right? These are all the things that we do to survive. And if you'd like to just survive and you're a boomer, then, it's not going to turn out so great for you, I'm telling you. So you want to thrive, dude. You want to thrive. You and I want to thrive. We want to thrive. It's got to be 22 days a month. Commit to 22 days a month of exercise until your final days on God's earth. I know you can do it, Buffalo Bill.
Okay.
What do you got?
Next one is from Josh. He says, I've been seeing your online infomercials for your Power Life supplements, and other than a multivitamin, what do I really need? What makes your Power Life so special? And if I'm already eating pretty well, do I really need to take anything else? Thanks, Josh.
Josh, I got really sick at the end of 2017, in October of 2017. And, Shauna knows, she suffered through it as much more so than I did, man. I just got destroyed. I lost 25 pounds. I couldn't eat, couldn't exercise, couldn't drive, couldn't do anything. And so I was very fortunate. As I was coming out of that, I got hooked up with a company that said, who knew what happened to me, right? They were like, wow, what happened to you? Maybe we can help you formulate some stuff. Because there's a lot of people who maybe don't have Ramsay-Hunt syndrome and vestibular hypofunction and shingles in your ear, but there are people who have to come back from something, right? And boomers, right? Shauna's not a boomer. I think you're Gen X, right? Gen X is a cool group. Boomers, like, what are we? So there's this thing, and you probably saw it in the infomercial online. A lot of people maybe haven't seen it yet, but there's something called sarcopenia. I'm not really pronouncing it. It's one of those two, which is age-related muscle loss, right? So, I don't know if you're a boomer or not, but if you're, and here, I'm here to tell the truth, right? I'm not here to sell you anything. If you're doing pretty well and you're feeling pretty good and you're sleeping really good and you don't have aches and pains and you have the energy and enthusiasm to get up and work out regularly and that's working for you and all you're taking is a multivitamin, you're done, bro. I'm not here to say anything. But if you're somebody like me who trains super hard, right? I got aches and pains and all kinds of different things. And I am 62. I will be shortly. Sarcopenia is happening to me. And the only way I can kind of combat that is making sure that I put the right combination of ingredients. So I take a multivitamin. I eat super healthy foods. Thank God Shauna's an amazing cook, right? But for me, if you look at any professional, collegiate, Olympic, high school athlete, they're taking some supplements, more than just multivitamins typically, right? And so like you look at the whey and plant-based proteins in Power Life. HMB, chromium, vitamin D, BCAAs, it's all in there. HMB, like what the hell is HMB? HMB is another way to help your body absorb the protein so you don't just get rid of it, right? It's this little magic mix. And I only learned about it when I met with the folks that wanted to help create these formulas for me. So, look, if you're doing great, if you're not, and you want to know more, you can order one and go to mypowerlife.com and check it out. And, our neighbors next door, I won't say the last name, but Ben and Ann. Ann's such a freak. She's older than I am. I'm 60, she's 60, she's 64, 5, I don't know. And she's like, I've run out, right? Because the first batch sold out, but there's plenty now, I think, available. So, they're loving it. Scott Morgan, he's got the biggest biceps in the freaking world all of a sudden, which is bumming me out a little bit. I just said somebody's first and last name, doesn't care. But, people have it and they love it, but if you don't need it, man, don't get it. But if you want to check it out, mypowerlife.com. There you go.
All right. This comes from Anne Marie in Quebec.
Quebec, Canada! Up there in Quebec, Canada, this is my Canadian accent. This is terrible. I'll stop now.
Wow.
This is Quebec.
Like
what is it? It's like
Italian and
French. A little Italian French. Is it Quebec? Oh my God! It's French up there because it's a Canadian province. Oh my God! Shut up. What's the question?
All right. I'm overweight and out of shape. Thank you for your honesty, Anne Marie. And my doctor wants me to start exercising, but honestly, I just hate it.
Oh.
Is there anything you can tell me that will change my mind? Thanks in advance for your help. I could really use it, Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. Well, Well, it's funny. That's a very interesting. The fact that she was so honest and direct, that puts a lot of pressure on me, Anne Marie. You know what? I'll tell you something. I don't like it either. Do you like exercise? When I get together with my friends and I'm doing that challenging Sunday thing that I do with them, I just love that, I guess. I love to ski, so the reason why I exercise is because I want to ski better. I want to be able to continue to ski. So if you're not athletic and you're overweight and you don't like all that stuff, you probably don't like sweating. I know people, I don't want to sweat. I get it, you know what I mean? It's not easy. And maybe you just haven't been exposed to the right stuff yet. And look, you've got a doctor who's saying, you want to live longer? Do you have kids? Do you want to watch your kids come down the aisle? There's all kinds of different things that you want to. And by the way, she doesn't mention how old she is, does she? It just gets harder and harder and harder with every passing week and month and year. You know what I mean? So you got to start doing something. And if it's just going for walks, here's what I do sometimes when I'm not in the mood. I just put my gym clothes on. I put on the shoes and I put it right. I just put it's scheduled and I'm gonna go do it, but I don't want to do it. And so my first step is just to put the stuff on, so I look like a guy who's gonna go exercise. You do that too.
I put my gym clothes on and I drink a pre-workout drink.
Ah, yeah.
Because I'm very, very sensitive to pretty much anything pre-workout, and then I know I need to go burn that off, or I'm gonna be
all jittery. That's a great one.
Bug-eyed.
And I do that too.
And if you can commit to 15 minutes in the gym, I guarantee you something's going to shift in your brain at about the 15-minute mark, and you're going to be okay with continuing on.
And that helps us. Like when she and I do yoga on Facebook, that's it. Those first 15 minutes feels like torture, and then all of a sudden it starts to kick in. So here's what I would suggest. And typically I would say to everybody, go 5 to 6 days a week, because that's really how you get to see changes. And maybe in your case, don't worry about having to commit to so many days. See if you can commit to 3 days a week. 15 minutes, like Shauna suggests. I think that's phenomenal. If you just do the 15 minutes, go for a walk, you know what I mean? I could tell you to buy P90, go on Beachbody On Demand and get that, or go on Guy and TV Fit and Yoga and do one of my programs. But I would your doctor has told you a very important thing, and I'm glad he's prescribed that as opposed to a bunch of silly medicine maybe that you probably, that won't help you really. Some do obviously, but some are just masking the ultimate issue. And the fact is, you are what you eat and you are what you physically do. You can control those two things, right? You can't control the weather and traffic and your children and pandemics and whatever else is happening in the world. But you can control those two things. So put on your clothes. We have a brand new pre-workout formula. Power Life has one. You can check it out at mypowerlife.com. Here again, I'm not here to promote stuff, but we both love it a lot because it doesn't make you all jittery and crazy.
Even green tea. Sometimes
green
I'll
tea.
Just
like I
have
have
green tea.
Do I have it here? No, that's what I drank. I drank a green. Is it where's that? Oh, it's on the floor. Can you see on the floor? Right there. That's what I did before. Just because it's just tea, man, with a little bit of caffeine, less than coffee. So put on the clothes, commit to 3 days a week, something that kind of gets you going, whether it's coffee or tea or a pre-workout formula. And if you don't have, if you don't have a gym membership, well, that's going to be hard. If you don't have a fitness equipment in the house, then, seriously, you can run in place, you can march in place, you can do jumping jacks, you can, dance. Here's the answer. Put on your favorite 3 songs, 3 days a week and start dancing in the room. Crank it up and jump around. And who cares, right? And if your kids are around, bring them in. If your husband wants to join you, that would be just a phenomenal way to start. And I hope we get to hear from you again, because even that is
definitely. Three straight songs. We've done it in here before, doing cardio. It gets your heart rate.
Yeah. You move, you groove, you pop and lock like it's 1976.
Not ballroom dancing. Not
anything. I don't care. You know what I mean? Just move. And that's a start. Because you start to get that oxygenated blood into your brain, and that changes your brain chemistry, and it changes your mood and memory and cognition, and you always feel better. Here's the thing: is I don't like how I feel prior to a workout, but I always love how I feel when I'm done, man. So you can remember that. It's a great start. Awesome. And Anne-Marie, is that Anne-Marie?
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie from Quebec. And find some friends. Find somebody else. Like if you're not in your house, accountability is everything. My mother quit smoking. She tried a bunch of times, but she quit smoking finally when a friend of an aunt of ours, I don't know if it was her sister or my father's side, when they got together and said, let's do this thing. And they had each other. So find somebody else, man. In the house, in the neighborhood, at work, online, and then that'll help too.
All right. Oh, this is our last one.
Good God! I can't, what? That was fast. How long have we been doing it? All right, ready? I'm ready.
This is from Ben, and he lives in Kansas City, Kansas.
Oh, the other one.
He says, I've been a gym rat since my teens, but now I'm seeing all these videos online of people rock climbing and doing parkour and flying around on ninja courses. I'm super interested in trying some of this stuff, but how do I transition from weights to some of these other types of exercises?
Say yes. What's his name? Ben? Ben, say yes. Say yes, say yes. And by the way, it's gonna feel like starting all over again. I mean, if you follow me, I don't know if you must, if you got a hold of us here, then you know. You can't see it, but I got a pegboard and I-beam up here. You know what I mean? I'm working on handstands 4 days a week. I got a ninja course in the back here. I got parallel bars. We have these events at the house called the Paragon Experience, and how does Ben find out about Paragon? What's the drill?
TonyHortonLife.com under events.
TonyHortonLife.com under events. We've got the best yoga instructors. We've got the best ninja instructors. We got Ted here and Wes here. We do an obstacle course here. If you want, we're June's booked up. October, there's a space or two. I don't know when this is going to air. And then there's 2021, and you can learn a lot over here. But then you can go online. You got to Google what's in your hood. I don't know if he's in Kansas City. So he's in a big city. There's an inch course around there, man, somewhere. There's rock climbing.
They're popping up everywhere.
Everywhere. So find out in your hood. Go in there, sign up, and ask for instruction. And you got to work on your flexibility. I don't know if you say you're a weightlifter guy. Flexibility is really important because that's going to expose your weaknesses because you've been doing, you've been bench pressing and curling and military pressing, and tricep kickbacking and hack squatting and whatever else, I'm sure. And these are very linear, kind of one-dimensional movements, which is better than nothing. It's awesome. You've been doing it, you said, for a long time. So, but the fact that you're curious about this and you want to get outside of your comfort zone is awesome, dude. So you just got to say yes, make sure you're hanging out with the right people, don't overdo it. Since you're already pretty fit, there's a tendency because your mind goes, I got this thing. And then you dislocate a shoulder. or you're rock climbing and all the skin comes off your hands. Like
tear a biceps tendon.
Or you tear a biceps tendon like Uncle Tony did. No, I got a little tiny baby bicep. I got a man one. I got a little boy one. Man boy. Right? So you just got to be smart. I would say first, if you want to succeed in these things, start doing yoga. If you don't already start doing yoga, Pilates, things like that, open the body up, right? Prepare it for the future. A lot of flexibility, a lot of stretching, a lot of yoga. So I'm awesome that you're asking that question and you're curious about that, man. Because you know what? If you're a gym rat and you love lifting weights and you're good at it, and you know what I mean, and you don't like, I don't want to do this thing, you're gonna fall in love. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth, ninth, 12th time. But you're gonna get better. The more you do, the better you get, right? Since you already have a fitness background. And your body's gonna change. You might lose some weight. You might get leaner and more vascular. And if you're a big, thick muscle guy, get ready for your physique to change. You can kind of do both, but you gotta be careful because you don't want to overtrain.
All right. That's it. Thank you so much for joining our very first ever Tony Talks, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, everybody, thank you very, very much. And our very first one, hopefully you learned a thing or two here. Those are great questions from great people. And if the folks at home who saw this want to ask me more questions, where do they go, Mrs.
Yes,
H?
you want to go to TonyHortonLife.com. Go into the contacts page. While you're there, put in your name and email too, and then that way you'll start getting Tony's newsletter because he does address a lot of common problems and questions in the newsletters too. And you just fill out the little form. It says tell Tony my story, and you can put your story or your question or whatever it is in there. That's it.
Perfecto, yes. And hopefully, maybe, we'll see one of your questions in the next Tony Talks. Thank you, Mrs. Horton. Well done. You're a pro. Right on, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.